Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, I'm your host, Mrs. M. And if you haven't, make sure you click the link below. That way you can subscribe to my channel and not miss out on anything you need to scale your business to six figures and beyond. Pow! So first I want to say Merry Christmas and happy holidays to all of you that are celebrating the holidays during this time. Happy holidays. Now, let's get to what we need to do. So how I won my first contract doing this with no experience. What I did was snow removal. Now, I'm from Ohio. We actually got a lot of snow when I was growing up. And so I was familiar with snow, but I had never, ever, even though I was doing facility services management, I was doing the janitorial, the staffing, but they had a large snowstorm in Maryland. I'm in the DC area. So in Maryland, they had a large snowstorm. And I just started thinking, I need to learn what I can do to win a government contract, even if it's a state contract, doing snow removal, even though I have zero experience. Let me think outside the box. I needed to, get some workers together. I knew that I needed to have someone that had experience, and then I could possibly understand what I could do to put them in place so that I could utilize that. And I say that because there is a lot of snow right now in a lot of areas, including Buffalo, New York. If anyone has been looking at the news, it is crazy. And so what I started looking at was, what could I do right then? I always talk about what's the next best thing I can do to make money today. So you can do actionable items that aren't making you any money. You can move paper around, you can do things, make phone calls, you can do all of that. But if it's not making you any money, then it does not matter when it comes to short and long term, because the whole goal of doing this is not for it to be a hobby, but for us to win government contracts to make the six figures and beyond that I talk about all of the time. So what I did, I got busy. The first thing I did was I called back home and asked someone that I knew who did snow removal by simply Googling. Companies came up, snow removal. So I called and asked them, could they send me some paperwork as if I were looking to hire them? So they sent me all this contract with all these terms in there because I need to understand the lingo. So it had trigger points when you go, if it's over a foot, if you want to have it where it's as occurred, like every time you charge, or do you do a blanket contract? I wanted all that in there. The next thing I did was I found out that in the state of Maryland, you have this thing called SBR, Small Business Reserve. It's like a program where you can actually get certified in under an hour. It started in 2004. So I knew that there was a contract at this large mall, and it was looking to do snow removal. So I ended up finding this particular contract, had no experience, and I saw that they needed references. So what did I need to do? I then got busy and I found someone on Craigslist. This gentleman did snow removal. So I reached out to him and I asked him if I were able, could I use him? And then I had also read that you were able to use someone else's references and past experiences if they were going to work with you as if they were yours. So boom, that's exactly what I did. Craigslist came in handy. Called him up, found out what he charged. He charged one flat rate, which was perfect. So that way I knew that I got like a one flat rate. And then if it were like, say, a foot of snow, or if it ended up being like a blizzard, then we also made sure we put in provisions for that. Now, I didn't have the equipment. I didn't have anything. I literally did my favorite thing, the middleman. So this particular contract was at the mall, and it was for a couple of $100,000 for the whole season. It was a government contract, and I was so excited because I put this together, put that together, thought outside the box, and next thing I knew, I was snug in my bed while this gentleman went out, did the work. I had already came up with an agreement on what I was going to do for him, what percentage I was going to pay him. I gave him actually, I think it was 70% of the amount, might have been 70, 75, and I may have kept 20. So it was like an 80-20 split. It depends on what they're doing. He had everything. He had the experience, he had the equipment, he was out there. So it made sense for me to let him handle everything. The contract was under the threshold of $250. So that way I was able to actually sub 100% of it out to him. So I said that to say, once again, this was considered a disaster relief a disaster relief contract, which were one of my favorite things to do when I knew I needed money and what was the next best thing. Right then, that's what it was. So if I'm looking to make 6 figures doing this, which I did, I knew that I needed to put a couple of things together and quickly. So if you're looking to make money, start thinking of what you can do. And I would highly suggest, kind of compiling both of those together. I had a disaster relief contract. I was able to locate the contract and I was able to fill out everything. This gentleman was a small business as well. He was in Maryland. So I was able to use him and it worked out really well. And we ended up keeping that contract for 5 years. 5 years we kept that contract. It was a 5-year contract and we kept the contract for 5 years. After that, I actually wanted to move into doing something else when it came to facilities, service, and support. So I no longer did that. But I am telling you, there are so many opportunities out there when you take the middleman concept and you can even partner with the disaster relief, partner the two together. Of course, you have to look at your subcontracting limitations, pay attention to that. But that is how I was able to win a contract in this particular industry with no experience, and it was for over 6 figures. So I know if I can do it, I absolutely know that you can. So what I'd love for you to do is click below so that you can actually sign up for my free masterclass on disaster relief. I'm going to go into where there's the 9 types. There's absolutely something near you. I love to have you there because I usually do the prime contractors who I actually work with and who I'm able to connect you with, because that's what it's about. It's about making those connections, understanding what's out there, and then implementing. So if you'd like to sign up, click the link below, and I'd love to see you there. And until next time, be safe and take care. Bye-bye.